What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Panty and Stocking Season 2. This is episode 3, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. I'm curious, to hear your opinion of like what what you feel about the show at this point. Because you told me before you've never watched the first season, but
Yeah.
going this far into the show, I don't know if you have any opinion on this.
It's funny, but like, yeah, it feels like I guess yeah, like you said, the original series did kind of have a plot. Maybe that'll happen later this series, I don't know, but like so far it's almost like these I guess self-contained little like segments within an episode. Like it seems like each episode has like 3 different segments. Each and they're all they all eventually like have to do with them, I guess, getting rid of a ghost, or what they call them, ghosts. It's just like, and that's kind of like what ends up happening. Well, not with all of them. Like some of them do, and then some of them don't. Like the first one, for instance, in this episode is focused around them getting rid of a ghost. And I mean, the setup is pretty funny. It's it's them, like they have to infiltrate like a dojo, in order to get rid of this ghost. But Penny and Stocking have like a falling out with each other, and it ends up being like her and what was it?
Scandy?
Scandy, yeah. Like she ends up infiltrating the dojo with her, and I guess it was kind of funny to watch the two of them like try to work together.
Yeah, because Scandy and Scandy and Nisok, like they were like actually antagonists towards with Penny and Stocking back in the first, at the end of the first season, but now like they're all working together, which is interesting. So yeah, so they were like I guess a dojo, trying to find out who this ghost is, and they find out it's the dojo master, who turns out being the ghost, and of course, like Stocking and Scanny kind of get into of an argument and like on who and how they should defeat the ghost, but
well, the ghost, before they even fight him, he has them like try to I guess it's obviously like trying to making fun of like the wax on wax off technique, where they have to try to wash a dog, or his dog, and of course that does kind of factor into the fight later, with how they end up defeating him.
Yeah, and of course the whole experience, I guess, in a way. Well, actually, at the end of the episode, Penny ends up making up with her sister, and then they end up reconciling by the end of the episode. And I think what was it? And then the next episode after that, it's called Bitch Perfect. It's
which I thought was funny, because it's just about like them being, Stocking is like now, I guess, an Instagram influencer. And she's like, well, I guess this world's version of Instagram, and she's like the most popular person on Instagram. So then like, Panty finds out about this, and it just becomes like a huge competition where they're trying to be more popular on Instagram than the other.
It just seems like they're getting an orgasm the more likely.
Yeah, like, well, I guess because of the validation they get from all the attention they're getting on Instagram.
Yeah,
and of course this ends up like culminating. Well, this leads to them going to this event, where I guess they're kind of like, it's for like famous Instagram models or something, and then of course the ghost, there is a ghost in this segment too, that ends up being like, I guess the ghost is supposed to represent like like,
I guess they're craving for validation, or something.
Yeah, because it like consumes them, and they're yeah, like, but Yeah, but yeah, they
It's
had.
just okay. So it's the way they beat it. It's just kind of interesting because what was it? Garterbelt and Brief find a way to rescue them by giving them even more attention on this Instagram spoof thing. It's to clarify, it's not technically called Instagram in this show.
Yeah,
It's a similar play on that on that app, but yeah, it's like they keep so Garterbelt and Brief like help garner more I guess likes and attention uh on the app for for all four of the sisters, and then it becomes too much for the ghost to the point where he ends up exploding and dying, and then that's
yeah,
how they end up beating the thing.
yeah. Well, okay. So I think the last segment is probably the most ridiculous one I think I've seen so far in the show, and I'm honestly kind of surprised that they like reference what they do in this skit. Like
At
the
the
whole
end,
thing
yeah.
oh, I mean, I'm just gonna say like the whole thing is a Fast and the Furious reference, which is kind of interesting coming from, obviously, like, I mean, I don't know how like popular the Fast and the Furious is in Japan. I feel like this would appeal, or a lot more of the like Western audience would get this than maybe like people in Japan. Like, I don't know. I guess there might be a lot of people that watch Fast and Furious there, but um I don't know. But so okay, so so yeah, the whole segment's
Every
just,
they literally have every single character that
yeah.
is based off from the film.
And I think they even referenced that, like, I think it was that one scene from like one of the, I think it was the last movie that Paul Walker was in, where they like
God.
drive off. And,
Yeah. Uh,
um,
okay. So I basically it's just that they're let me just get this out of it. They're like anthropomorphic sperm inside of
yeah,
Panty, and as far as if people know like how biology works, they know how people know how
they're
it
all
works.
trying to drive to the womb, like.
Okay, and then it plays like almost like a typical Fast and Furious type of story in which they have to drive from this go from point A to point B, and then they're almost stopped by by Penny's vibrating toy. Uh,
Yeah,
and then like of course they ended up saving each other at the last minute, and then like they spoof like the final segment between Dom and Brian at the end of one of the films, and then yeah, and that's how the episode ends.
I was honestly kind of shocked that they. I guess I'm not too surprised they went there, but I guess it's more so like that they referenced the Fast and the Furious, like that kind of surprised me a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, this was actually like so far in my opinion like the funniest segment, just because of that, and just the why it's happening, I guess.
like I stopped questioning it. It's just like you just can't help face palm laughing at
Yeah,
how ridiculous this is. Like it just like each week just keeps getting even more ridiculous. I mean I
yeah,
mean I'm not surprised because of how ridiculous the first season was, but they keep pushing the envelope even further with with what they're showing off in this one. Like it's just like this last segment in this episode like pretty much takes the cake.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I thought overall it was a pretty good episode. I I mean, I just kind of think of it now as more, it's like I'm not really even thinking about that there is. I mean, maybe it will have like a plot eventually, but it just so far seems like it's more like a lot of it's just like references and just like comedic skits.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
I'm guessing the first season was probably like that, but
no, it was kind of the same thing. It's just
yeah.
mostly they get into like its own main plot style like near the end of the season.
Hmm.
Like I said, like the first episode of this season was more of like following up what happened after that cliffhanger from season one. Um, right now, like they're still going going through the same beats as they did with season one, showing off like these standalone skits, uh, with a couple of them like following up on what happened with the main plot, like what happened in the last episode with Panning being forced to pay $3 trillion due to all the damages she caused back in episode one,
Mhm.
which is interesting because they never really followed up on that whole thing, which like she ended up getting the money and then squandering it on like on a fashion chain. It's just they never
Yeah.
referenced this at all.
I,
At the beginning of the episode.
I mean, for the most part, like each episode feels fairly like disconnected from like certain things that happened in the last one.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, I mean, sometimes it just gets. I don't know. It feels like I almost for. It just like literally wants you to forget the last thing you just saw, by watching like something so incredibly ridiculous. You just completely forget about what happened.
yeah. But yeah, I thought overall it was a pretty decent episode. Like I would say I'm enjoying it so far. It's pretty funny. I mean, especially like as a like kind of raunchy comedic series with like a lot of sex jokes. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've gotten a little bit more used to the voice to the new voice cast. Um, I don't know. Like I'm maybe people who've heard the original dub might feel differently, but it's not too bad. From what I've heard of it, and from what I guess compared to like how the original sounded. Um, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but it seems like they're mostly like probably like unknown actors because I mean, I at least just hearing their voices, I'm not really like familiar with like.
I mean,
Uh,
the person voicing Stalking right now is Christina V,
okay.
who voices Sakura from Fate Stay Night, and I think she also voiced
Yeah.
uh, many other characters from
Yeah.
various other series.
Yeah. I think they both sound fairly decent for the most part.
Yeah,
It seems like they're trying to sort of sound like the original cast, but you can still tell it's like different actors. Um,
yeah. It's just, but mainly people are just more or less focused on the whole raunchy,
yeah.
ridiculous nature of the show overall. I mean, like, I guess the way the new actors are playing, their characters. I think they more or less. I think it's starting to feel like you don't even realize that it's this like it's different people. Like they're just playing the exact same characters that was portrayed back in season one.
Yeah. Um. Oh, but yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It was fun. I mean, like I said, like it's getting to the point where like I just don't really even care if whether or not if it does have a main plot line. Maybe it
Yeah.
will later on in the show because it's just like the past two episodes after episode one kind of got into its own standalone thing. Um, Kind of a little bit surprised that there were at least three segments and compared to two segments back in episode one. So it's I guess it'll kind of alternate between like just these different random standalone segments here and there before it gets into an actual main plot.
Mhm.
Because they more or less resolved the main plot line from season one by defeating was it Corset from season one. But I'm curious on what like who the main antagonist is for the end of this season.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm wondering. But yeah, it might kind of follow the same structure as like the first season, where like a lot of the episodes are like self-contained, and then eventually, like there is some kind of a plot. But I mean, so far, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind if like all of them were like this. I, but yeah, guys. That all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.